finished hammering all the nails in my support brackets. So these ones had a lot of nails in them. Like, it looked like this pallet had been repaired a couple times. So like I stated earlier also, when I'm measuring these, they're measuring just shy of 4 foot. So 48 inches. And I wanted all the cages to be 36 inches in length. So either what I can do is I can cut these down and make them smaller. So 36 inches. The issue I'm going to run into is there's a lot of nails in these. So I'm going to have issues with my saw going through them. I don't want to tear up my blade. My blade's already dull, if you couldn't tell from the time lapse. It's my original blade on my saw, and I bought it when we bought the house, so it's 6 years old. It needs a new blade. Actually, I just need an upgrade saw too. My tools are getting old, but I always run everything until it falls apart. So until it falls apart, I'm going to keep using it. So my two options is I can either cut this down, make these smaller, or I can put multiple ones together and make one long span and brace them together on the inside and the outside. If I do that, I need about 9 feet of board. So I would need 2 of these and then a foot off of another one. So that's going to put a little joint in the middle, which I'm not sure if I'm happy about that either. So I'm going to have to sit on this and ponder what method I like better. Alright, so I had some issues cutting that. There was a nail that I didn't see, but you can see my splice in the middle now. So this will end up being right at 9 foot. So this will be the entire length of the hutches for the rabbits. Now what I'm planning on doing here is just taking some of these flat boards from the top of the pallet. I'm going to put them on the inside and the outside as a brace. And I'll put my little screws through that, and hopefully that'll be strong enough to hold it all together, and everything else will work out good. Alright, so I'm back here to start bracing. I had to take care of the kids. They've been doing pretty good playing outside today. I told them it's one of their last warm days to actually be doing stuff. So let's move on to these next couple of steps. So like I said, I cut a 1 foot section to put in the middle here, and then I'm going to brace it on both sides with pretty much just a regular pallet board. I'm going to use some of these little screws I have left over from when I was making raised beds out of pallets. So these are just 1 5/8 inch screws. I want to probably put 2 in each section so I can get maximum strength. Then I'm also going to brace it on the back side too. So let's try to get this centered as close as I can. Make sure it's flat with the top, because this will be where the other things will get mounted. So I'm just going to screw them in. 2 into this first board. Carefully, I don't want to strip any of these boards out. I'm going to put 2 into here. Make sure it's still flush on the top. Put the screw in. Okay, so there's that screw. So I'm hoping by doing it like this, it'll square everything up, so then there's no flex in it. So that's my hope in all this. Now my bit doesn't want to go back in, but we got it. So then next we'll go over here. Put this screw in. And you know, by no means am I a professional builder. I wouldn't expect my house to look like this. But for some rabbits, I think this will be really nice for them. The big hope is trying not to split these boards, which I'm pretty sure I just did. So these screws aren't supposed to split boards, but I don't know. Yeah, let's flip it over. Yeah, I did split that one a little bit. So now let's do this side. So put that there. I'm not going to use as many screws on this side. Just because I don't want to risk cracking it. This one's just there to make sure it stays put together where I want it to. Here, pallet wood is not the greatest wood. It tends to be really splitty. So yeah, this board on this side is just cracking. So we'll put one here going into the board. Looks like I got some dirt or something in my motor. It's starting to smoke. Maybe I do get a new tool set here soon. This is a fully charged battery. It doesn't seem like it's wanting to run very good, and it's smoking some. Maybe it just has some dirt in it. We'll keep going until it breaks. Alright, so I'm just going to get a rough number right now so I know what I'm dealing with. So on this side, I got 1 1/4, and on this side I got 1. So that's 2 1/4 inches. I need 30, so I need to be 27 3/4 to get to my 30 mark. So 27 3/4, because I got 1 1/4 and 1. So we'll find it here on our tape measure. So 27 3/4. So when you add a quarter, it'll be 28, and then you got your 2 inches, which would make 30. So I got my mark. I'll square it off real quick. Such a small cut. Squaring doesn't make a big deal, but and this saw's real nice because it's got the laser built onto it. So the laser is on the outside of where the blade's going to cut. So if I want this to be 27, I need to make sure I'm to the left of my line. So there's one 27 3/4 inch board. So now we'll come back over here, set you down so you guys can see. So we'll make sure it's right. 30 inches. So what I'll do is we'll pull this board up here to like about there, make sure it's level, sink a 3-inch screw into it, same thing on the other side, and I'll cut more down through there. The only place that it's going to change is where my brackets are in the middle. That'll be a different measurement because it's now narrower with the extra boards. And then I already went down through here and marked with pink chalk about where each cage is going to stop. So, not that it really matters, but it helps me reference how everything will look. So, we'll jump into a time lapse of me putting the frame in the bottom of this now. bottom of the frame is done. For some reason the kids thinks this is a parkour course or a ladder. I haven't decided. Can you jump back while staying on the boards? Isaiah, can you do it? Try it, buddy. Alright, so I finished the bottom frame of the cage. Most of these boards are evenly spaced out. So next we're going to move on to is I'm going to go ahead and put the wire down before I start framing up the sides of it. I think this would be easier to do now and not have to work around the supports for the roof. Alright, so I've got all the wire on here now. I underestimated my wire. I only have a foot by 30 left. So I'm going to have to end up going to the store and getting 1 inch by 2 inch wire for the sides where it's needed. It's a little bit more cost effective, but I'm going to need more wire anyways. So I'm starting to work on the back brackets for the roof. What I'm thinking for the roof, I'm doing a 1 by 12 rise. So for every 12 inches, it goes up 1 inch. So I went ahead and I've cut these to my degree. The degree for this pitch of a roof is a 4.75. So on my saw, I've got it at the 4 and almost 5. So I don't look for it to be perfect. As long as I get close to the pitch, I'm going to be happy. I didn't want too big of a pitch because I want to have plenty of room to jump around and stretch out and stand on their back legs. So the back posts at their lowest point are going to be 18 and the front are going to be 20. So it is now nighttime. It's time to put kids to bed. So I'm going to finish this video hopefully tomorrow and get this cage out there, and then we can start looking for rabbits. The breed we're looking at right now are silverfox. They was on the endangered species list. They was created in like 1920 in Canton, Ohio. So they're a dual purpose rabbit. They both do meat and are prized for their pelts too. So if we end up digging into saving pelts and selling them, they'll be good for both. So I'm going to clean up my mess a little bit and put all my batteries on charge, and I will resume in the morning. Alright, so now it's day 2. We're going to start putting up the wall supports, and I will probably have to tear apart another pallet just so I have enough lumber. I'm down to only 4 2x2s left. So what I'm planning on doing on this step is I've got all my angles marked on here. They're already pre-cut. And then I'm going to do pilot holes on these just because I'm going to be stepping them in like this. So I don't want to crack these boards. Being so small, they're going to easily crack. So hopefully the boards under them don't crack either. So we'll hop into another time lapse while I go through and build this. I might tear down another pallet if I need more lumber while I'm doing this also. So, on the last video I did all time lapses of putting the boards in, but I actually wanted to show you guys and talk to you while I was working on it this time. So I'm working on the front board's at the 4.75 degree slope, and it's about 1 inch for every 12 inches of rise. So these actually are now 20 and a half because we're moving 30 inches. So you'll be able to see what all I do. Like I said, I put the wire on yesterday just because I didn't want to go through and do all the figuring out to figure out where I needed to cut my wire. So now I can just set my boards on there and cut accordingly to that. And in the previous time lapse, you see I'm switching batteries a lot. I forgot to throw a battery on charge last night, and you know how life kind of just gets in the way. We went and had some things to do today also, so that's kind of put me behind a little bit. So yeah, I'm just kind of looking where my board lines up so then I know where to cut. And I'm just taking my little wire cutters and I'm cutting appropriately. So I'll already have to go through and add some more staples to it when I'm done. So yeah, you can see where the staple is. I'm just kind of prying it up and pulling it out. So there's that. So on the first one I put in, I actually made a mistake. So I'm using 3-inch screws, and when I did my pilot hole, I went this way. So of course my screws came out the back side. So I'm gonna have to take my saw to that one and get it fixed. But what I learned is, so on this one, when I go to put my screw in, I'm going to go this way, so it'll go into the board and I won't end up having part of it sticking out. So now I need to drill my pilot hole this way. So here we go. I got just a little drill bit. All my other drill bits that I had currently was too big, so this little one is what I'm using. Oops. And it's just the right length, and it's not too big. So, I'll do that. And with that little staple there, it's trying to hold itself up too, so that helps. Grab me a 3-inch screw, put it back on, or let's go ahead and start our screw. I always like sticking them in a little bit. Alright, line everything up. Okay, that looks good. And we'll put it in. And I had to drop my drill to the slower speed. At the higher speed it kept torquing itself out. And once you start, you back it out a little bit, so then you can get nice and flush with that hole. So there we go. There's putting one in. So you can see, I got it here. I mean, I don't expect these to be super sturdy. I'm not going to be carrying it by its roof. All these are is supporting the roof, which will also, all these will get tied together with the new wire that I got today. I picked up a roll of 1-inch by 2-inch wire. So add another $40 cost to this build, just because I thought this was a 25-foot roll and it turned out to be a 10-foot roll. But from what I've researched online, the 1x2s are better anyways for feeders and waterers to go through. The 1-inch by 1/2 inch is pretty narrow and it's hard to line up sometimes. So for the last 3 of these boards, I'll jump back into my time lapse and then we'll regroup after that.